Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, folks, the football podcast we bring you each and every week. And of course, we sprinkle in there a little bit of pro wrestling as well. It's Thursday. It's Thursday's Tier Talk. I better introduce him straight away. My co-host, Dazzler Darren, joins me tonight, as always. How are you, buddy?
I'm all good, pal. I'm all good. How are you?
Good, yeah. Not a bother at all. Buzzing, actually. Looking forward to this show, actually. We've a good bit to go through and some interesting stuff as well to get your thoughts on, for sure.
Do I need to warn you, Noel?
No?
I need to warn you.
Why, what's up?
Usually, I have my dinner before I come on. And tonight, I didn't have my dinner. So if I get hangry, you know what happened.
You won't
I'm just giving everyone the heads up in the chat. No. If I take a bite out of you, it's just because I haven't eaten, that's all. It's not because I don't love you. I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy.
It's because he wants to eat you.
I'm the guy.
There you go. Right, but before we start, folks, you'll see it down there in the description as well, the GoFundMe as well. Sadly, Christopher Potter last night lost his life. Rangers fan who travelled over to Turkey for the Fenerbahce game was tragically killed in a traffic incident. So obviously we never like to see fans ever go to a game and not go home. So very, very sad. The GoFundMe is there if you feel like you want to contribute and stuff like that. And it's times like this, we don't need to get any tribalistic or race, creed, or religion, any that type of stuff. Really, really sad that he didn't go home. And I'm sure Rangers at the weekend will obviously Marcus Parson, no doubt. So very, very sad. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Christopher's family and extended family and the Rangers fan base and Glasgow Rangers itself, of course. Right. Always a tough one. Right, let's lighten the mood a little bit. Darren, myself and yourself last Saturday.
Jesus, your man's a handsome devil, isn't he? The fella with the beard. What's his story?
Absolutely. First of all, in the comments, Baz, as always, big up, my friend. How are you? And Ian's
Captain.
In there as well. Ian's in as
Here
well.
We go. I'm working on me 8x10. I'm working on a pal, yeah? I'll have it ready for you soon, brother. Don't worry.
NWO for life.
Absolutely. Wolfpack, baby. Oh.
Talk to me then. We put up a few videos there on the channel. They got a great reception, stuff like that. And obviously the Teal boys were absolutely fantastic on the night. You could see Marky's trophies there as well. Absolutely looked spectacular. Give us your thoughts on the night, because I've obviously given my thoughts on Monday and stuff like that. And also,
great night. Absolutely great night. I suppose the first thing you've got to say is what a woman Sharon is, putting on a gig like that for our husband, our partner Nigel. Like, that's just phenomenal to go to those lengths, isn't it? Like, as parties go, it was right up there with the absolute creme. So big shout out to Sharon and Nigel for the show they put on and stuff like that. It was phenomenal. That's the kind of 50 we all need to get invited to, don't forget. And then I suppose, we've dealt with a couple of these lads before, not these two gentlemen in particular, but we've dealt with a few of these lads, ex-footballers, involved in the kind of legend scene with Tony and stuff like that. And generally speaking, and it's not just because we're involved in it, they're really good lads. Like, they're really good. They really are. They're very given of their time. Like, we obviously, when we got to the hotel the other night, the lads were sitting having a bite to eat, and there was people coming up and kind of saying, listen, is it okay if you grab a picture or thing? And the lads were just, yeah, no problem. Sign away, jump up from their dinner, take a picture. And I think most people do their best to respect them because they know how given of their time they are. They were great lads. We had a great bit of crack with them, obviously, and doing the outtakes and stuff like that for the snippets for the podcast, for the sound bites was really fun as well. I've been showing people them all week. I just thought they were great. The human side of this character and stuff like that. So really, really good lads to deal with, and really looking forward to hopefully sitting down with some more legends over the coming season and kind of bring them to you guys and bringing stories and stuff like that. And I think it's interesting as well,
Yeah, it is. Like, the Teal boys were just fantastic, and it's like you walk into the restaurant and the Teal boys are hooshing over in the benches to let us in at the table.
Right.
They're going
as if we were somebody,
Yeah, as if we were the one arriving to have dinner with them.
Yeah, and the lads are very well looked after and stuff like that. But that was extended to us, and can we get you a drink, lads? Do you want something to eat? Do you need anything? And just great to deal with people like that. Makes everything so easy for us, obviously, to do what we're trying to do and stuff. And it's we were lucky because we got to mention it. It's a phenomenal platform that Tony's given us as well. It really is, and we're very grateful for that.
Absolutely, yeah. Legends 11 doing some stellar work and stuff like that. And
absolutely,
obviously we had Tom Mulhall on Monday talking about the Leeds game coming up that we're going to be covering and stuff like that, which is going to be cracking. But yeah, the two boys, they're just, and they're so professional as well because, this is only my second time doing what I would call nearly like a live podcast, if you like, in front of an audience kind of thing, So there's a certain amount of nervousness there as well and all that kind of stuff. But the two boys just put you at ease. They turn around and go, right, so what are we covering? And I said, well, do a little bit of your Liverpool careers and a little bit of the Irish careers and stuff like that. And then he said, yeah, and we go to Q&A. And Roddy goes, we just play it by ear and have a bit of crack, Niall. It's all good, you know what I mean? And like, when you hear that, it's great because you could have lads there with a chip on their shoulder going, well, I want you to cover this and all. And like,
well, you could have lads that want to cover certain things because it paints them in a certain light. And you could have lads who don't want certain things asked again because it's going to paint them in a certain light. But the lads were like, listen, ask us what you want. Away you go. Everyone's happy as Larry. It's just great. Like, you know what I mean? Really, really good.
Yeah, appreciate that, Dino.
It's our boy, Dino.
Yeah, remember, Dino, don't forget you're the part in this in the beginning as well.
Absolutely.
So your seat is always available there.
Dino was one of the OGs in here. One of the OGs. Absolutely. I'm only keeping it warm for you, Dino, pal. Don't forget, when you're ready, you let us know, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, right. So what else do we want to cover? Let me see what I want to get into. I do want to touch on this before we get into discussing matches and stuff like that as well. Jason McAteer the other day. I don't know if you picked up on this or you seen it. Did an interview.
Didn't actually.
He did an interview. Has opened up on his struggles with depression, especially as his football career that saw him write himself into Irish sport and history ended. He says, I just had no purpose, mate. It was no structure, he said. The TV stuff, I wasn't working every day of the week. It would be like maybe one show a week or maybe 2 shows a week. It was very sporadic, days and days and days with nothing to do. Yeah. He says, and I got to the tunnel, that tunnel between the Wirral and Liverpool. My child, who I was keeping this relationship with under difficult circumstances, lived on the other side of this tunnel. And I was driving through the tunnel and it upsets me because it takes me back to this moment because I can feel it. And as you go out of the daylight into the tunnel light, it's like this kind of light. I remember thinking to myself, so I'm just going to swing the car here and just end it. That's how easy it is. And I was fighting myself not to do it. Fighting, going, do it. Tough, isn't it? Tough when you read that. And listen, I've been at a couple of Jason McAteer shows. Jason's great. He's actually normally the sidekick, for the likes of Robbie Fowler and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because he's such a personality and he's so bubbly and outgoing. And I tell you now, and we often talk about this, that sometimes you don't see the signs in people. We know about Gary Speed and stuff like that and all.
Absolutely.
But I've been to a number of his shows. He would be the absolute last guy on a list that I would think that has depression issues potentially leading to suicidal thoughts. I was blown away by this the other day. And I just wanted to put it out there because we often talk about men speaking out about their problems and stuff like that and all. And I think it's really, really important to those kind of decisions that people make are the final decision and they're tough and they hurt so many people, leave so many people behind, stuff like that. So what I would say before I get your comment, if you're struggling out there and you need to talk to someone, pick up a phone, pick up a WhatsApp, do whatever you have to do to talk to someone. There's always someone available for someone to listen and try and guide you through if you're going through some dark times and tough times and stuff like that.
Send us 2 gobshites a message. We'll happily talk to anybody day or night. You know that. We know that, right?
Talking is
very, very, very hard. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very hard to read that for me. I have to be honest. Like you said, huge personality. And I mean, he's not the first athlete that I've heard, open up about this, about when your career ends, finding not your niche in the market, but certainly finding, your next calling and stuff like that. It's very, very tough. It really is. I know myself. like when I finished playing ball, I was obviously involved for a long, long time, and probably, you know, a similar sort of time to Jason, because we play from what, 5, 6 years of age up till, you know, maybe you're 35 or whatever it is, and whatever, and I just missed, the one thing I missed was just that crack and that banter with the lads. And that was something that, like, there was a little bit of a void there at times. Now, I'm very, very lucky. I have a great support system around me, and it wasn't, they weren't kind of thoughts that crossed my mind, thankfully. But I could absolutely see how, if stuff wasn't going your way, you could look at an out of jail card and go, maybe this is best for everybody, you know. And we've talked about it before. You know this, like the podcast kind of fell into my lap a little bit after my dad passed away, and that for me kind of dug me out of that hole, do you know? So even by just talking to you and talking to the guys and stuff like that, it kind of lightened the load for me, and helped me get my head in a good space and stuff like that. And you can just build yourself back up that way. And Jason's going to find something that's going to help him, and it's going to put him on the right track and put him on the right road and stuff like that. But it's not easy. Like, everyone's going through stuff, and we just never know, you know. That's the thing. We just never know.
I often say to people, you know, if you are having a tough time with it and stuff like that, the best thing you can do, actually, I found, is wake up in the morning and have a notepad and a pen on your locker. Set yourself a couple of mini goals for that day. Give yourself some purpose and reason to live and all that kind of stuff. And if you do that and you get into the rhythm of that, you'd be amazed what you can achieve, you know. But just set yourself just little things and stuff like that. Challenge yourself every day with little goals and, you know, little things and stuff like that. For us, it's kind of different because us both being parents and flat out and working and self-employed and, you know, multiple businesses and all that kind of stuff, we never get time to really stop and think, you know what I mean? Because if we're not working,
luckily,
we're involved in something. If we're not organizing trips or doing something, or, you know, organizing podcasts, or, you know, this stuff now we're doing with Legends 11 and all that kind of stuff. I never get time to really stop and think, you know. Saturday, there I am on stage with Ronnie Whelan and Ray Houghton. Monday, then I'm doing a podcast about Leeds with Tom Mulhall about this charity game, you know. Monday, I was on them with Mark, you know. Tuesday, I'm doing the pro wrestling gig. Wednesday, I watched the Liverpool game. Thursday, I'm on tonight with you, and I was doing paperwork all day and looking after the dogs and all that kind of stuff. So it never ends. You don't get a day. There's no days off. Like, sometimes people say to me, when I put up that we're closed on Thursday in the shop, they think it's a day off. It's not a day off. There's no day offs in this world. This world is 24/7, 365 for me, you know. So
absolutely.
And happy that it's that way as well.
100%. What do they say? The devil makes work for idle hands, right?
Absolutely, 100%. Bodo Glimt 2-0 up against Olympiacos, and we've had some interesting results.
Bodo Glimt are a good team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real good team.
Nothing wrong with them at all. Zane is in. Big up, Zane. I also experienced something similar a few years ago, but just have to remain positive, and resilience is key. Absolutely. Always
100%, pal.
Zane, the best thing you do, I'm telling you, man, just set yourself some mini goals, and you'll be amazed what you can achieve and what it becomes. You start setting bigger goals and stuff like that and all. Give yourself purpose. It's really important. Niall, you're like nowadays off Darren Young. I am like nowadays off.
That's it, man.
100%. 100%. Wanted to get your thoughts on this as well. PGMOL. If these fines going forward, this was ex-PGMOL chief Keith Hackett talking. He was talking about the fines and the bans and stuff like that. And if that doesn't curtail things, and like, I don't know what you're doing fining someone 65 grand who's a multi-millionaire. I don't know how that works, you know.
100%.
Things.
100%.
And the ban of a game or two. But he's talking about now that they may look at going down the road of sanctions on the club and deducting points. For me, I think that's well, give me your thoughts on it. I'm not too sure on that.
I really like it, to be honest with you, because I think it's the only way people are going to become accountable. I think the issue is, as you said, you're looking at football clubs these days, and 100 grand to a football club is just such a drop in the ocean. It just doesn't even register with most clubs, where if you were to turn around and it was a team fighting for relegation, or if you are a team, you know, fighting for a European spot, and something happened after a game and the PGMOL stepped in and they said, well, you know what? Actually, you've gone too far this time, lads, and you've won the game 2-0, but we're going to deduct 3 points from you. I think that will soon put paid to some of what's going on. I have to be honest. I think it's a great move.
What about, okay, I get that, and we're trying to develop this respect for officials and all this kind of stuff. But I'd like to see some sort of an action plan as well from the PGMOL about what they're doing about the poor officiating that leads to the emotion and the triggering. Because remember, some of these decisions, like these guys' jobs are at risk. What if you're fourth from bottom and you're 2 points ahead of the relegation zone? Your manager has an absolute meltdown. He's under serious pressure. You can imagine the pressure and the intensity of it. And the next thing, you fly off the handle and they deduct you 3 points and you get relegated.
Well, like you knew coming into it that if you flew off the handle, you are going to get deducted the points. So keep your fucking self in check and shut your mouth and stay in the sideline and manage your team. Like
is that
nobody goes
that
out.
Easy?
Well, I think it should be if you're a professional and you're doing your job. Like, how often do you go off the handle at someone in the shop? How often do I go off the handle at someone on a tennis court? I know you don't, and I know I don't. And because we're very professional in the job we do, and we give a service to people and stuff like that, right? And yes, it's not a results-based business, so I do get that. But also, you've got to understand that no referee goes out there to make a bad decision. It's human error. This is, unless we're going to let AI look after the game, which probably isn't a mile away, unless we're going to let AI look after it, you have to understand there's going to be a certain amount of human error and there's going to be a certain amount of subjective calls. Some will go in your favor, some will go against you. And that's just the level of understanding that has to be there. And you've got to just deal with it. There's like, I have to be honest, I was at a game of football recently with Brody. And it is under 10s football. And the referee that refereed the under 10s football match had his father on the sideline as some sort of backup and protection because of the abuse he takes from parents week to week. Under 10s football. Now, don't forget, this is everything we do in this game, in this beautiful game that we love, football-wise, filters down from the top, filters down, filters down, filters down. Ronaldo scores a goal, goes and does a celebration, kid does it the weekend, right? The boots they wear, everything. Watching this behavior is learned behavior, and it's behavior that people think is acceptable. How often do you how often do you pop around the corner at the Greystones Rugby Club? And how often do you see the supporters on the sideline berating the referee? They don't do it because it's not accepted in their game. We've become accepting of this. And if we want to change the game, we need to change the culture of the game. And there has to be ramifications. And at the minute, that's just not happening because 100 grand to a Premier League club is like buying a packet of fig rolls. It's not even touching the base.
Yeah, Philip says it's disgraceful the way managers and coaches go on at referees. It needs to stop. You wouldn't see that in rugby.
I couldn't see the comment, Philip, and I've just touched on it. Touched on it. My nephew plays for Malahide Rugby Club. He plays under 18s. It's a good level. It's a great standard. And the standard of refereeing might not be any better, but the level of respect is just through the roof. It's through the roof. And it makes it a more enjoyable game to watch at times. It really does.
Yeah, I think with the officiating in the rugby as well, I think it's a lot more clearer and you're kept in the loop and there's more of an understanding.
Yeah, but there's still so many subjective calls. Calls in games are gonna be subjective. One set of eyes sees it one way, one set of eyes sees it the other. The thing is that when the referee in rugby makes a decision, you're not changing it, so don't try. Football, we haven't learned that yet. We haven't learned that yet, and that's a problem.
Yeah. Right, what else do I want to get into? Oh yeah, Arsenal. Wanted to have a quick chat about Arsenal. Arsenal have raised their season ticket prices for the third year in a row, just weeks after one club chief pocketed a pay rise worth 634,000. I'm not sure how the two are really linked. I know it doesn't sit well with people, but yeah, what it means is the upper centre season tickets, which previously cost £2,050, are now going up by £75, and the lower ones are going to go up by £39. What's your thoughts on this? I mean, you've experienced a little bit of this yourself as well since India's came in and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I see the thing for me with United is we're nowhere near the level of Arsenal anyway. You know, my season ticket costs. I'm gonna say about 630 sterling a year. So for me, let's say, what are we saying? €700.
So you're getting 2 season tickets practically for one Arsenal one.
No, I'm getting 3.
If you're looking at the top, if you're top end, yeah, because you're Stratford end, yeah. So
yeah. While a lower one in the wings or the corners, I'm second row behind the goal in the Stratford end.
Yeah.
I'm certainly getting a lot more.
You're getting 3.5.
Well, I'm getting 3. It's about it's about 6 odd. I'm getting 3.
2-1-2-5. Yeah.
But Arsenal's, one of the most expensive grounds in the country. London, obviously, you pay a premium for everything. You buy a bottle of water in Manchester, you buy a bottle of water in London. The likelihood is you'll pay more in London. That's just the way it is. It's a capital city like New York, or sorry, not like New York, like Rome, like Paris, like places like that. But like I do think the Premier League have to come in somewhere here and set a precedent and say, okay, guys, your season ticket price can only reach a certain level, like, and cap it. And it's different if you have, you're selling a hospitality or an experience. I think that's very, very different. I think you can put your own stamp on that. And generally speaking, the people buying them aren't the everyday football fan. Whereas I think fans in the stands, I think, are getting punished here, and clubs are starting to become a little bit greedy with what they're trying to get out of things,
Yeah, I suppose the problem is as well with such exorbitant waiting lists and people with such an appetite for season tickets and stuff like that. They generally don't have a problem, even if people a certain portion back off and go, right, this is ridiculous. That seat will be filled pretty quickly anyway.
You are 110% only a number, which I find it really difficult when I've had my season tickets 10 years and my season tickets don't necessarily, hold me in a better light than another fan, even though I'm a season ticket holder. And I'm like, surely as a season ticket holder, there should be certain privileges afforded to you because you've stumped up, because you've shown your level of loyalty and stuff like that. And I know everybody's not in a position, so it's not a measuring stick or a yardstick. I just think when people put their money forward, I think, from the club side, there should be a little more accepting at times of certain things, and they should try and work on the relationship. Like, United have a really poor relationship with season ticket holders at times. Really poor. It's that kind of, like it or lump it. We don't care. There's another 10,000 on the wait list, so you don't like it, jog on and whatever. It's not the way to treat people. It's really not.
Yeah, absolutely not. No. Just had it highlighted though. It's interesting the way this is just escalating. Right, let's get into talking about some football.
Do you know? Well, I'm gonna just touch on something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to the Manchester Derby, and it's on April 6th, and it's a Sunday, and United and City play at 4:30 on the Sunday game. So because of the way the boats fall, I can either travel over on the Sunday morning and then come home on the Monday, or I can travel over on the Saturday and come home the Sunday night. I generally don't like to do it all in one day. It's a little bit too much travel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it now. As it happens, the Saturday, it looks like I'm off work. Whereas the Monday, I'll be in work. So if I go early Saturday, I'll have all day Saturday. Sunday, I'll get the late boat home. Sunday, I'll be back for Monday, and I'll be in work for Monday afternoon. So I'll miss nothing, which is great. And I was kind of saying to myself, what will I do with the young lad, it's just me and him heading over. And he wouldn't be like a big fan of the outlets and stuff like that, which I'd usually do. We usually go to Cheshire Oaks or whatever and blah, blah. So I was like, what can I do? So I was talking to Andrew last night, and Andrew says, why don't you see if you can go to a game on the Saturday? And I said, yeah, maybe I could do that, you know. So scan the list first of all, Premier League, Premier League, Premier League. So had a look. Villa play Forest on the Saturday night, 5:30. So my only real issue with it is if I go to Holyhead, I have 3 hours from Holyhead to Birmingham. And then after the game from Villa Park to the hotel, I've around about an hour and a half to 2 hours of a spin. Now, if the game's on till at 5:30, it's not going to finish till 7:30. Again, I get to my car at 8 o'clock. I'm not getting to a hotel after 10 o'clock. And this is supposed to be my off day, so to speak, you know what I mean? Because I'm obviously going to travel back late. So it's like, right, yeah, I'm hemming and hawing. You know, I'm thinking about it. But then I said, let's look down at what else we have. So Blackburn are 45 minutes from the hotel we stay in. They're playing on the Saturday at 3 o'clock against Middlesbrough, which wouldn't be a bad game, the Championship. And then we found Salford City, who are at home on the Saturday afternoon versus Gillingham at 3 o'clock and are 16 minutes from the hotel. So I went on last night to look at picking up tickets. I'm waiting to hear back from the hospitality because I said I'd ask the question just because of an experience. The tickets, the general admission tickets are very cheap. I think it's 22 for an adult and 4 for a child. So you're going to get £26, €30 for myself and Brody to a League One game. And that's a reasonable sort of a price, I think, to pay. Now we'll see what the hospitality's like, what levels there are, and are the children allowed, and blah blah. So we'll have a little look, but I'll keep you up to date.
Be interesting to see what they offer as hospitality as well. You know.
Yeah. I believe there's a 3-course meal, but it's like street food, and stuff like that. And then there's your match program, and then there's all soft drinks or beers or wines or whatever, and then you get to sit in a certain lounge, and there's a few little bits and pieces. Listen, we'll see what it is. Do you know what I mean? The Villa game looked like it was going to cost me about 140 sterling for 2 tickets.
It's not bad.
So about 80 sterling for my ticket and about 60 sterling for Brody's. So about 140. Again, that's no issue to me. Like 140 is probably about 170, 180. So I'm
fine. Who are Villa playing again? Forest?
Villa and Forest, which is Midlands derby. So it'll be a decent game. Yeah,
could be a top 5 shootout as well.
Could be a good game. My only issue is getting into the car at 8 o'clock and having 2 hours after being on the boat at 7:30 that morning. I'm going to be absolutely shattered.
I wonder, could you got a hotel down there for that night and then go up to your main hotel for the match the next day, you know?
Maybe. I suppose it's a possibility.
You could do that as well, you know, just book in one night into the Manchester one that you normally go to, and the other night book in.
We're only staying one night. We travel home on the Sunday, so we'd only need. But yeah, we could possibly do that, and just not stay in our local. Stay somewhere else, you know. I actually didn't think of it, to be honest with you. Just do a little bit of travel the next morning, which would work. Come see, come saw. Well, you know.
Yeah, that's for 140 quid for 2 tickets. That's a good game. That could be a proper shootout. And listen, speaking of Forest,
and the tickets are obviously in the Villa end, but might be an opportunity to boo Marcus Rashford. I followed him from Manchester to Birmingham just so I could boo the little fucker.
Might start bagging though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, he's gonna start bagging.
One end is that? What's it? The Holt end, is it?
It's not the Holt end. It's the other end. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Holt end seems to be the season ticket holder end.
That's
like the Stretford end, and you know.
Yeah.
But it's something I'm toying with for now. You know.
Yeah, that's the way I would do it.
The staying in the other hotel is I didn't actually think of it.
Because for 140 quid, that's a great match. And as I said, that could be a top 5 shootout at that stage.
Top 5 shootout and 2 teams left in the FA Cup quarterfinals. I mean, what else could you ask for?
Yeah. The only thing, if they both stay in the FA Cup, would that might impact on the fixture, would it? Maybe? No?
It absolutely could. 100%.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Pressing in the quarterfinal, fair play. Yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on this. Very open FA Cup this year, because we know Man City aren't playing as well as we would expect and stuff like that. What you thinking on this? That's going to be a tough trip to Bournemouth, isn't it? Mark mentioned it on Monday's show as well.
100%.
Who are you picking here now? If you nail your mast here, your flag to your mast here, who are you picking? Who do you think is going to end up winning this?
I think City will have to be the favourites. But I mean, just looking at the quarterfinals with Fulham, Palace, Preston Villa, Bournemouth, Brighton, and Forest, like anybody but City win that, and I'm delighted for them. I'm genuinely delighted for them. I really am. I think Marco Silva's done a terrific job at Fulham. We've spoken about him. I think Areola as well at Bournemouth done a phenomenal job. Nuno, great job. The boy Herzler, first year in the league, great job. Emery, serial winner, cup competition. It's right up his street. The boy Glasner at Palace. Obviously, Preston hanging on in there. I don't imagine they're going to go any further in the quarters. I don't see them getting past Villa. But again, phenomenal for them and a great source of revenue. And then you've got the elephant in the room, which is City, because on their day, they should beat all of those teams. But the problem is they're just having too many days that aren't theirs. You know, so it'll be interesting.
Would you give any hope to Preston in the fact that Arsenal Villa are going to be in the top 5 shake? Are we looking like 5 positions?
Yeah.
Plus, they're probably going to still be involved
Champions
in
League.
Champions League.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Absolutely. I just think the level of what Villa has, I think that's where the recruitment in January is coming into it. You know, you look at it, and obviously there was Daniel Mallon, there was Marcus Asensio, and there was Marcus Rashford. When you bring 3 players like that in January, I know John Duran obviously left the building. It's a lot of excess, which lets you, you know, chop and change, and it gives you options from the bench, and then you can start with somebody else. And like the likelihood is that game right now, Marcus Rashford's probably starting it, because at the minute he's probably outside the first 11, but he still should be enough to get Aston Villa over the line against Preston. And you know, after the kind of Arsenal debacle for Unai Emery, I would love to see him win an FA Cup. I really would. I think he was harshly treated at Arsenal in a similar way to, you know, David Moyes was at Man United. I think Arsenal probably weren't 100% sure what they were doing there, and they maybe pulled the plug a bit too quickly. But yeah, I anyone bar City there for me is a win.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'd be cool. It would be, as I said, like Emery for us, Marco Silva, Areola. You know,
now I have to listen.
Even Herzler, you know,
I have to kind of blow my own trumpet slightly here, because we were at the Spurs game, myself, Andrew Brody, Tiernan, and my uncle Gay. And remember, we had this conversation on the evening after losing to Spurs. Spurs beat us 3-0. And we had this whole conversation in the hotel room, and we went through the league table from top to bottom. And the 2 managers I picked out that I would have had replace Eric Ten Hag at that stage was Marco Silva and Andoni Areola.
Yeah.
And they're 2 of the 8 left. And I think they're both doing fantastic jobs. You know, really, really good jobs. I think Romy has mentioned it a couple of times tonight. He will, if he keeps snowballing the way he is at Bournemouth, he will absolutely 110% put himself in the window for a massive job. It could be in England, it could be in Spain, it could be in Germany, but he is pushing and elevating himself onto that platform where people are going to see him and go, I'll take a bite of him, thanks.
Yeah, 100%. He's done a phenomenal job at Bournemouth, and you look at the players he has there as well. He has some players that look the absolute business at the moment.
He does, but don't forget, there's a huge amount of that down to the recruitment staff. A huge amount of them players that have brought in that, 6, 8 months, 12 months in at a club. And like, look at the boy Hoyson, look at Kirkes and stuff like that. Straight away, Real Madrid, Liverpool, knocking on the door to pay big bucks over the odds for what Bournemouth paid. That will show you your scouting department is working. That will show you recruitment is on point. And that will show you that's why. And that's one of the reasons, as good as Iraola is, I do think he's very good. The recruitment is helping them massively.
Yeah, and you would think potentially this summer that a few of those boys will exit Bournemouth. A lot of people linked with a lot of players there at the moment, and maybe putting an FA Cup into the cabinet would be phenomenal, and maybe that's the time okay, now it's time to step up for the manager as well. You know what I mean?
100%.
And it might be a good time because obviously
we saw what it did for the likes of Roberto Martinez, who went and got a job at Everton, and then went to get a job at Belgium, and then went to get a job somewhere. And I'm like, he's just snowballed from that FA Cup. Snowballed. Yeah. So who's saying it couldn't happen to Andoni Iraola,
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Let's get in and talk about the Prem.
Yeah,
let's kick it off. So we're kicking off right out of the blocks. Forest versus Man City. Top 5 6-pointer. Talk to me. Tough place to go. City ground.
Yeah, like real tough place to go. But I suppose on the last day out, Forest, we kind of tipped Forest to get over the line against Arsenal. They didn't. But they were good on the day. They were worthy of their draw. City turned it on, managed to pick up a really, really important victory away at Spurs. And I think City will kind of be looking for more of the same. Their head isn't on the swivel at the minute. There's not a whole lot to focus on other than just nailing down that top 4 and maybe getting some of the newer guys some more game time, that when they get to August next year, the likes of Marmoush, the likes of Kushyanov and the likes of Vega and stuff like that are ready to go, Not an easy place to go. We know Forest have been very good there, and they're very tight at the back. But I think you might see the Man City juggernaut just gain a little bit of traction here, just a little bit. I think the Spurs game will have been big for them. It's somewhere they don't tend to do very well. I think to go there and win 1-0 and kind of keep things moving will be huge for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to go 2-1 City.
2-1 City, yeah. Brighton versus Fulham.
Yeah, obviously Fulham coming off the back of a great result in the FA Cup last weekend. A penalty win against ourselves. Did a good win the last day out in the league as well against Wolves. But Brighton as well had a really good win at home against Bournemouth the last day out, which probably was a little bit of a turn up for us when we looked at it. I think we were all fancying Bournemouth there, but Brighton managed to turn in one of the performances. I think this will be a good game, but I think maybe there might be a little bit more in the Brighton tank, because I think they've had a little bit longer to get over it. I think Fulham obviously going right to the death against United. I think you'll have a bit of a downer after that, and it might just be a bit flat from Fulham's point of view. I think Brighton might just take advantage of that. So I'm going to go Brighton 3-1 here.
So Haaland hasn't really had a field day against anyone.
Not at all.
And you've been pushing this Haaland narrative now for about 3 months, and it still hasn't really happened as such. So I don't know about that. Joanne's going with Forest 2-0 against Man City.
That's a big shout, Joanne. That is a big shout.
It's massive. So Liverpool over 3.5 goals against Southampton.
Yes and no, because I think he'll make changes.
Absolutely.
And I think when he does make a few changes, Southampton will be right at it. And they'll probably give you more of a game than you should have, I think.
100%. Big game coming up next week. Palace versus Ipswich.
Yeah, I suppose the big question here is the boy Mateta ready to return? We probably won't find out till tomorrow. And the press conferences and stuff like that. if Palace are have Mateta back, I'll side on the Palace side of defence. I think if they don't, I think they can be a bit blunt at times, and Ipswich could take advantage of that. Ipswich will, we know they'll put it up to them and they'll put a good fight up and stuff like that. And the boy Liam Delap will give them he'll lead the line for them and stuff like that. So I think a lot kind of depends on the outcome of Mateta being fit or not. I might just err on the side of caution here. And I think I'll just go 1-1 here.
Would you say a hangover with Ipswich being disappointed going out in the way that they did with the Pens?
No, not necessarily. I think sometimes that can be a driving force rather than a huge minus.
Liam Delap.
Also known as Liam Delap, yeah.
Also known as Liam. PSG should have won by 5 or 6 last night. That's right, they should have, but they didn't. Because we've got the best goalkeeper on the planet. Liverpool versus Southampton. You alluded into it anyway, didn't you?
Yeah, listen. Do I expect you to get over the line? Absolutely. But would I be shocked if Southampton turned up, put in a huge performance and managed to nick something? No, because I think you'll make changes, and I think, you did look a little bit tired the other night. You looked a little bit leggy at times, and PSG were able to kind of run you ragged. And so I think a lot will depend on the team that Slot decides to go with.
Do you reckon the other night we were leggy? Obviously, PSG were excellent, okay, and we know the firepower and the players that they have as well. But do you reckon we were leggy, or do you think we were just out of rhythm because we had a week off?
No, I kind of think you looked a bit leggy, but to be honest with you, I think in a similar sense to Klopp, he likes the small squad. He like we can name the Liverpool team week to week generally, and we can tell you if by who's playing, what the subs are going to be, and what times they're going to be at. So he does very much stick to the plan, and I just think there's a couple of lads there look a little bit leggy. From the effort that they've put in so far this season, and they've had a lot of games, obviously, and the FA Cup is really the only competition they've gone out of. They're top of the league. They're in pole position in the Champions League, and they're in the cup final. So I think there is, it's important to try and freshen things up when you get an opportunity against the likes of Southampton.
Massive week coming up as well. Obviously, PSG next week,
huge,
and then the cup final at the weekend. So there's a lot riding on this week.
Like, would you? And here's the thing: with the buffer you have, are you happy to drop 2 points, say, on Saturday, if it means you go on and qualify for the next round of the Champions League and lift the cup?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that's the way I would say it.
100%.
That's 100%. And I think that should be what's in his head. And with that in mind, making the couple of changes might be enough to give Southampton a way into the game.
The only thing I would say about the changes is when he made the changes against Plymouth, and I don't think he'd make that amount of changes, but I think when he made the changes, I think it knocked us out of our rhythm for a week to 10 days, really, because we started struggling then with draws and stuff. So I think he needs to be careful as well. I think for me, it's all three. I don't think it's really acceptable to drop points to Southampton, even though we have the eye on the bigger picture of the week coming up and stuff like that. But I think it's really important to get the 3 points there and then put the pressure back on Arsenal heading to use at Old Trafford. Because then the gap could be 16 points.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you're on week 28. Like, there's only 10 games left. You're so far ahead. And Arsenal are going to drop points, whether it's against us or someone else.
Yeah, but I'm going to touch every bit of wood here on this desk, right? And preface that by saying we're only a Van Dijk or a Salah injury away from a problem.
So, listen, that happens for all teams. But what I will say is, like, would I want a Van Dijk or a Salah injury on Saturday, which might land me in trouble on Wednesday or next Sunday? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, for me, and just reading what Ted says here, any chance he rests Salah against Southampton, He should
I
absolutely
yeah.
start Chiesa on Saturday.
I'd
100%.
say what he does here is he doesn't do what he did at Plymouth, that the boys are still on the bench to be sprung if
Yes,
needed.
absolutely.
Whereas
And I
last
think,
time he definitely the week off.
you possibly go in with a Chiesa and a Gakpo and a Darwin through the middle, which means you leave your three lads free as a bird. You start with Elliott and Jones and Endo maybe, and and you're back four. You bring Robbo and somebody in, or you bring Tsimikas in or whatever, and like that's the way I would be going.
Read today as well. I don't know if you're saying this. Sven Botman injured again.
So it's Botman, it's Lewis Hall, and it's Anthony Gordon. Like three massive players for Newcastle. Three absolute massive players. The boy Lewis Hall has turned himself into one of the best fullbacks in the country. And now he's obviously had the foot operation and stuff like that, which will leave him out until next season, I think. Botman's a huge miss. He has been all season. And then Gordon, obviously, with the red card, is just it's leaning things your way,
Absolutely. Would you expect Newcastle to make changes against West Ham? I know we'll come to the match in a minute, with the final on the horizon as well.
I think he'll make a couple of changes, because I think if you just in isolation look at the three injuries. If you look at the three injuries, they're three big injuries. Or sorry, the unavailable players. I know Gordon's isn't an injury, but like if he runs at West Ham and he gets a Dan Burn injured or a Fabian Schär, and then all of a sudden then he's down to a 4-choice centre back, or he do, I think it just like do you play Callum Wilson to give Alexander Isak another week to kind of build himself back up and find his rhythm in training and stuff, so he's ready to go for the next week?
He was only back.
Do you know what I mean? There really is. Do I give Willock and Longstaff an opportunity in there, knowing that I'm keeping Guimaraes and Tonali from the following week? I do. Newcastle have won a trophy in however many years. Like this is opportunity knocks, and it doesn't knock that often. So
Great point. Great point there from Ted as well. Really tough for lads picking their fantasy football.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Newcastle has to win to get Champions League next season. They need to stay in the shake-up. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. We shall see. It'll be interesting. Brentford 0, Aston Villa 2. One is going as well. We'll move on to that now anyway. So, what are you picking? What did you say? Liverpool, Southampton?
I think Liverpool will get over the line, but I think it'll be kind of late in the day, and it'll be scruffy. It'll be 2-1. There won't be much on,
Yeah. I have to say, not just coming off Liverpool last night, I was so happy for Darwin Núñez last night getting that assist. So happy for the lad, So it was just great. Everyone just piling in on him and stuff like that. And I did say on the show with you last week and on the show with Mark that Darwin Núñez will be vital in the run in certain moments for this team. And there you go.
I got to be honest. I think the huge difference was you look at the night Alisson has, right? And obviously he's man of the match. He's a tremendous performance.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the under end of the pitch, Donnarumma should save that. If he wants to put himself in the bracket of one of the best goalkeepers in the world, he gets a hand on that and pushes it around the post, and the game ends 0-0. Because I don't necessarily think, Elliott nails it at all. I think he goes to side foot, it doesn't get it far enough around him. I think when he sees Donnarumma getting a hand on it, he goes, oh well, he saved it, and then he pushes it inside the post, and you're like, wow. Looking at what's gone on the other end, I think one team go in, look at their keeper, and the other team go in and look at their keeper.
Do you know what was really cool last night as well after the match? The interview where they got Peter Schmeichel on CBS to interview him.
Right.
Alisson. And I thought that was really, really cool because everyone knows how good Alisson Becker is. It's without doubt and stuff like that. But how humble he was to be around a guy like Peter Schmeichel and stuff, was really, really, really cool. And I was thinking, maybe in a number of years when these boys are in Legends games or something like that, maybe we get another.
I don't imagine Peter Schmeichel or Alisson are playing in any Legends games.
Well, you never know. You never
I
know.
don't imagine. I tell you, that's going to cost Tony a right few bob if they are, though.
Some people, someone will spend, someone will pay.
Listen, it might be it might be the Legends 11 in Saudi Arabia, but it ain't going to be the one in Airfield. Put it that way.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
You know it. You know it.
Okay, Brentford, Aston Villa.
Yeah, like I think this could be a tough day at the office for Villa. I think obviously Brentford are they're a super team. We know how well drilled they are. They've obviously had a week off and stuff like that. So they'll be well drilled for Villa. And I think Villa, obviously with the heavy defeat the last day against Palace, and then obviously with the game on Tuesday night in the Champions League, I think they'll be a bit leggy. I think he'll make a couple of changes. And I think it'll be enough to see Brentford get over the line, if I'm honest.
They're not interviewing my boy Courtois. I'm insulted. Absolutely. TKO boxing in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, saying that Dana White's big deal and stuff like that. Wolves versus Everton.
I think the Cunha suspension plays a huge part here. He's just been a shining light for Wolves, and I think that kills it. I think Fulham obviously beat them the last day out 2-1, and I've actually got Everton in my bet later. Now, I haven't gone result on both to score. I've just put Everton into a bet as a win. So I might just go Everton 1-0 here.
Okay, interesting. Chelsea versus Leicester.
How many do you want to score? I think that's what this will be. I think this is an opportunity for Chelsea to, kind of add to what they did the last day against Southampton. Obviously, they had a great 4-0 win against Southampton. I think this is another opportunity for Chelsea to get the ball rolling. And
2-1 tonight against Copenhagen away as well.
Away, yeah, it's a good win. They'll go back to the bridge. They'll bury them there. And I think they'll have a good day out at the office against Leicester on the weekend. And I think Chelsea 4-0.
Yeah, Chelsea 4-0. Big win. Ain't to be happy with that. Spurs versus Bournemouth. Spurs with a poor result tonight away from AZ.
Spurs with a real poor result tonight. I mean, you couldn't have fancied AZ tonight. Obviously, the home form is quite good, but I think Spurs going away, you would have fancied it. I do think they'll turn it around next week. But I think it heaps more pressure on Ange. I think that now he's going to be... I know they brought the boy Solanke on tonight and then took him off. I didn't see what happened. They brought him on in the 72nd minute. They took him off in the 92nd. So he only played 20 minutes and was taken off towards the end. I wonder, is it reoccurrence of the injury? So we'll have to wait and see about that. Or did he just feel something and then maybe Ange decided no point risking it? We'll get you back for Sunday. Spurs will have a tough day at the office here against Bournemouth. Bournemouth very, very good at the back. And Spurs not as good at the back as they would like to be. I think a score draw here. I'm going to go 2-2.
Yeah, just looking at it there tonight, Archie Gray again in defence. It's just...
Now, Mickey van de Ven did come back tonight. He was in the squad, so I don't know whether he played or if he didn't play, he was certainly on the bench and he was available. So I heard earlier on today that the Van de Ven and Solanke were both in the squad. So he is getting bodies back. It's just at what kind of speed, if that makes sense. Let me look here.
He didn't play.
He didn't play. So he was on the bench, but didn't come off it, which probably gives him a good chance of starting at the weekend. And I think if he's going to start with the boy Kevin Danso, the January signing, and then you'll possibly get to see Archie Gray in midfield, possibly with Bergval. And you've got Spence and Adogi and Porro and stuff for the wide positions and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it'll be
Bergval with the OG tonight as well, the goal.
And
obviously Troy Parra playing up front as well for AZ.
A former Spurs player.
Spurs player, yeah. So
yeah, absolutely. Man United.
Joanne's gone for Wolves 1, Everton 2. Yeah, United, Arsenal. Yeah, pop it out there for me.
Yeah, I'm not overly hopeful. Like, if the truth be honest, you watch
United 4-1. Is your young lad, is he eligible to play? There's no issue
yes,
there?
he is. There's no issue
Good.
there. No, because we
Good.
bought him. So the issue with tonight was he wasn't registered.
Imagine he gets the winner.
It could happen. I don't think it will, but it could happen. And by the way, I think it absolutely suits us to put him up against Gabriel and Saliba because he's a big physical sort of a kid. I think if we go in, I do think he'll start Hoyland, but I think when we go in with Hoyland, he won't lay a glove on the two lads, and you probably won't see us land a blow until the kid comes off the bench. He's a big kid. He's physical. He'll want to put on a good show against Arsenal of all the teams. He really will. I think there's going to be too much for Arsenal, if I'm honest. I think we've obviously got Maguire and Ugarte who were injured tonight. You see the squad. You look at the bench. It's not going to be easy for us. I think Arsenal might just get over the line, and I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. That breaks me heart.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go 2-1 United. I'm going to go.
You bet with your heart every week. It's so funny. Every week.
Well, it's the hope that kills us. So I'm going to go with Bruno with a pen.
I'm a United fan. I don't have that much hope. Why would you have it?
Go. Because it's just when Arsenal roll into town, it's a different game. You know what I mean? It's different than if you're gonna raise your games for that, and it's going to be a big game. You got I still can't get over the size of that boy Dorgu as well. He is a monster. Absolutely.
I think something, and we spoke about this previously, that had to be redressed was the height issue. And if you've got, let's say, a Luke Shaw and a Rasmus Højlund playing left back and up front, and you bring them back for corners, because neither of the lads are huge, it could lead you in a bit of trouble. If you take the two boys out and you go Dorgu and Cheeto, all of a sudden life might feel a bit easier, Yeah. So I think this is something that, we talk about. Obviously physicality and having the engine to do the work is huge for us. That's something we look at. But I also think size had to be redressed, and I think they're starting to do it. I think when you look at what we're buying in a lot of athletes, we're buying in legs, we're buying in potential, we're buying in size, because they're trying to make us a more well-rounded team,
Ted's asking you, what did you think of the panel? We spoke about it in the group chat, obviously. I said that I think I could see why they give it in Europe, but it's never a pen in the Prem, and it's just unfortunate that they ref these decisions differently between Europe.
I think if it's not a pen in the Premier League, or if it's not a pen in the Premier League, it's not a pen in Europe. A pen's a pen wherever you are. Because I was reading this, obviously, I think it would be different if it was a tackle. Whereas I think with a hand, anyone I spoke to so far has said not a penalty. Very clear and obvious, not a penalty. Shouldn't be given. How do you jump with your arms by your side? Yeah. You can't. You have to have leverage and balance. So that has to be looked at. I think the biggest issue I had was the VAR sent them to look at it. I think that for me was the difficult part, because I think, somebody can be really clever and go, that's unusual.
That's unusual in Europe as well, isn't it? It's unusual that they do that. Like, they normally take responsibility in Europe in the games,
Yeah, it's a poor decision for me now.
Yeah, and then of course, obviously, you were under the cosh then for 20 minutes,
Yeah, and it's not to say, by the way, that Sociedad shouldn't have gotten a draw. But if they were going to get a draw, it surely should have been from their own adventures rather than, a penalty like that. Onana did quite well at the end, made a couple of good saves and stuff like that. And I suppose that's the frustrating thing with him. You watch him like that and you see him make a couple of saves and you think, this is what the guy can do. And then I've no doubt, Arsenal will do something on Sunday and he'll throw his cap on one and under his legs, and you're just like, Jesus, where's the level of consistency here, lads? Give us a break, will you?
Yeah, absolutely. Spurs, if you don't continue in Europe, don't worry, you have beyond safe. Absolutely.
Listen,
going for a 2-2 draw.
I would take her hand off for that, Joanne. If you offer me that now, I'll take her hand off her. How about that?
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dazzler's heart is broke like the John Cena kids fan base.
100%, Romy, 100%, man.
Hustle, loyalty, respect. We round out West Ham versus Newcastle. Joanne's going for a 3-1 Newcastle win. I'm
not a chance.
Sure who they're missing.
Not a chance. Not with Botman, Hall, definitely Gordon, and probably Isaac won't play because he'll want them to be ready for Sunday. I think this is West Ham written all over it because I think Potterball has started to land at West Ham. And I think with a good window in the summer, West Ham will project themselves back to where they want to be in that top half of the league and stuff like that, you know. Big
up, Ryan. Thanks for joining us, pal.
Hey, Ryan. Good to have you, pal.
Roll me. Less of that Wolves slander.
Pretty good.
Ryan. Gotta save my boy Cunha. There you go. I thought it was a very harsh penalty to give, and obviously big up Ted. Part of that is, as a United fan, I wanted to win, but I just can't believe we are calling.
I think I'm pretty good at calling United down the middle. I think I am now. Like, if that's Liverpool, it's not a penalty. It's not because it's United. I just don't think it's a penalty at all. So it doesn't sit well with me, to be honest.
He can save us first, Romy. He will be gone in the summer. First, yeah.
He will be gone in the summer, but I don't think he's going to Real Madrid, I can tell you. That'd shock me.
Ted, would you believe there's no John Cena kids fan base? All those kids are in their teens now. Ted I have lads in their mid-20s.
Yeah, or 40s.
Coming into me with kids.
Ted obviously didn't see the video of the kid throwing the action figures down the stairs. Did you see this?
No, I tell you,
there's a kid up the stairs and the father's down the bottom of the stairs. The next minute, these figures start getting launched down the stairs, and he's shouting up. He's like, Jesse, what are you doing? And the kid is just throwing. And the last one is, you know, the what's the big one you have in the shop? You know, the ones in the
the joint ones, yeah, the ring joints.
The ring joints. He has a ring joints at the top step of the stairs. The kid just takes it 2 steps back and absolutely punts it down the stairs.
We had Sean on the show on Tuesday, and he was devastated, legit devastated.
Burning t-shirts,
close to it. He was at the point where he was contemplating not doing the show. He was that upset, actually.
Doesn't that just go to show you how amazing a job they did?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I always say when my wife watches our soaps on TV, and she's like, I hate that lad. I fucking hate him. He's a scumbag. He's this, he's that. And I'm like, he's obviously playing a great part, this lad, because you want to jump through the telly and put him in a headlock, you know? Brilliant.
Jellyfish Potter is cooking and takes the chill home because he's a G.
That's it.
The man baby, so telling you. That penalty tonight was very harsh against Britain.
I think so, Ryan. I think so, pal.
Most people. I'm the same, Daz. I'm usually pretty fair in what I call them penalties.
I would agree with you, Ted. I would agree with you, pal.
Yeah. I was never a Cena fan as a kid, thank the Lord. I was a fan from the day he came on the scene. Just saying.
It's only because he was paying your mortgage.
I had to sit down. One day I had to sit down with Dylan and explain to Dylan now he can't go to college. Thanks, John.
Quality.
Thanks, John. Could you not have just held off for another year, no? Those kids are Cody crybabies. They just hate seeing it because he gave Cody what he had coming. Jeez, I think Travis Scott gave him what he
ouch.
Just saying it hit back on TNT. Never a penalty, to be honest. Yeah,
100%, Ryan.
I think it was harsh as well. Right, a little bit of a time where we League of Ireland. Ryan, you must be happy your team is up in 4th, St. Pat's. We gave St. Pat's to Ryan for this season.
Yeah.
Darren, Waterford, top of the league, draw the 2nd, and Shelbourne 3rd.
Yeah. I think for me, Waterford are obviously the standout. You know, would I have expected Shell to be there? 2 wins, 2 draws from what they had is a good start. 8 points on the board, still unbeaten, you know, looking good. I think Pat's probably, maybe a point or two off where they would have wanted to be. I think Drogheda had put in a much better shift than they did last season, obviously.
Yeah.
And then down the bottom, you look at Derry and Rovers, like second and third from last year, and just floundering. I know Rovers have a game in hand and stuff like that against Cork, but there's no guarantees there either at the minute, is there?
Yeah, and I said it on the show on Monday night is that they need to be really careful because they could get detached very quick, and we seen what happened last season. They couldn't make up the gap, really.
Absolutely.
Did you catch the Cork manager's interview after the game? He was being interviewed after the game, and obviously the refereeing was a little bit.
I did.
Game.
He said he was awful, and your man told him, "I thought your team were awful."
Yeah. The ref taking a point back at him.
Yeah, but I mean, and I read some of the comments underneath it, and it was like, well, if you came at the ref and wanted to have a bite out of him, why couldn't he have a bite back? Because your man obviously wanted him suspended and wanted him not to ref a game again and blah, blah. And I was just like, hold on, pal. You've just given him 2 barrels. Surely the man should be allowed to give you 2 back. That's, all's fair in love and football.
Yeah. What did he say? I told him he was a shite ref, and he told me my team are shite.
Nailed it.
Tell it. Unbelievable. There you go. League of Ireland never lets us down, I have to say. Right, let's go through this week's fixtures as well. Cork City versus Sligo. That Cork would bounce back at Turner's Cross, wouldn't
he? Yes. I think so. Do you think Cody thinks he's better than Cena? Does he?
Maybe now.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't think he believes he's... I think most people would agree Cena's the GOAT,
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I wouldn't argue with it, I can tell you that.
Absolutely.
Big game, John.
All spot for us. Romy, did you see the picture? Did you see the NWO picture? And he's leaning against the ropes. There's a kid in the crowd holding up an NWO sign, and it has NW, and then the O is seen as ball patch looking out at him. It's quality. And I mean proper quality. I'll dig it out and send it on to you. It's cracking. Cena's leaning on the ropes looking out at the fans, and the big ball patch on him. He needs to shave that head.
But why? Like, if we're talking about John Cena, like, if fucking, Charlie from the fucking North Strand went to Turkey and got his hair sorted, why the fuck hasn't John Cena done it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're in Hollywood, pal. The place is full of cosmetic surgery and fillers and plastics and the whole shoot match. And all you have to do is get somebody to just sprout that little patch for you. It's not rocket science.
But you know what it might be? And it's very clever from this guy. Remember, this guy has spent so long in this business, stuff like that. Is he using it as an instrument for publicity and for this, that, and the other and all, and as a point of...
I don't know.
I don't know. I wonder, is it really a big issue, John Cena's, For me or you now, it would be, because we're quite, we
look better than John.
We're into our grooming.
We look way better than John, let's be honest here.
Definitely not have a ball patch going on anyway. We get skin fades. We definitely
no,
that's for sure. Ryan, I'm going to try and watch the game tomorrow if I can't find it anywhere. Absolutely, Ryan. Definitely.
League of Ireland TV. League of Ireland TV, Ryan.
You have the app.
You'll get it there. You have the app, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
My son has become
actually, if he has a VPN, he can switch his VPN into Ireland and get Virgin Media, the Virgin Media player.
Is it live on telly?
Yeah, I think so. Well, Pats and Rovers is live tomorrow night.
Pats and Rovers is on. Sorry, sorry.
Dublin Derby as well. So so if you have a VPN, Ryan, switch it to Ireland and download the Virgin Media player.
That's right. That's a good shout.
You might be able to get it that way. There you
go. My son has become a frequent attendee at the Shells games. Okay. He was there last week, and he was there obviously on the first night against Derry, I think it was, when the lights went and stuff. So I would imagine he'll be there tomorrow night as well against Rada. We might have to get him to
feel like
do a bit of video for us.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be cool. Graham was at in Inchicore on Monday, and he contacted us from the ground on the show. He was in the chat and all. Greetings from Inchicore, he said, so it was cool. So the more of that we get, the better. I'm convinced Cena is keeping that ball spot for people to have a go at it. Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. Spot on. And you know, that's how clever
Pardon the pun.
On. Yeah,
spot on.
Yeah, that's it. Cena has a ball spot like a bottle.
Jesus. Knee slides over with the corner flag.
That's it. Body grooming, just to be clear, not the other grooming.
That's it.
Absolutely, as always. Right.
Ted's a man of fine hair as well, isn't he? Fine hair, Ted.
He is. Ted has a fine head of hair. You'd look long and hard for Ted to have a ball patch, that's for sure. Cork 100%. City versus Sligo. What did you go for, Cork?
I'll go Cork 2-1.
2-1. Derry versus Galway.
Pretty hard to back against Galway in the form they're in. But I do think Derry might turn up tomorrow night. I'll go 1-0 Derry.
1-0 Derry. And the Dublin Derby, the first one does one next week as well. So Rovers versus Pats.
I'm gonna stun you here, and I'm gonna go Pats 3-2.
Oh, interesting. Big scoring game up under the lights of Tala.
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Shelbourne versus Drogheda. Another great match.
Another great game. Again, a game that I think might end up a draw. I'm gonna go 1-1.
And we round out then with the top of the table, Waterford versus Bohemians.
And I think we'll see our third draw.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to go with the Chris.
Sorry, my second draw. Second draw. I think 1-1. So I think Waterford draw, Shells draw. I think Pats win, Derry win, and Cork win. 2 homes, 1 away, and 2 draws. Wonder if we nail that. I'd love to nail that. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it just something feels better about if you get a League of Ireland bet up.
Listen, we'll take Ant at this stage.
Absolutely. Something before we get into our beat the bookie. And again, yes. Ted, if you got your bets or any lads, if you have your bets, drop them in there as always. But me and you, I think we'd be all in on this, wouldn't we? This halftime show for the World Cup final.
I think so. Yeah,
we like a bit of entertainment, don't we?
We sure do. And yeah, I'd be happy enough, to be honest with you. Couldn't argue with it. And you know what? I'm actually fine with Coldplay as well. I've no problem with Coldplay. I know some of the lads in the chat are not Coldplay fans. I'm a Coldplay fan. I'm happy as Larry with Coldplay, lads.
Absolutely. This kind of snuck in underneath us here, really. We haven't spoke about this much, but there's potentially some very good games down in Miami and all along that eastern coast.
Eastern seaboard almost.
Yes, absolutely. All the way up into Atlanta as well, and of course culminating in the final in the MetLife, isn't it, in New Jersey?
Yes. Now this was obviously I think I told you about this. I looked at tickets for the FIFA World Club Cup, which is the preempt to the World Cup, because obviously it's being held in the US as well in a number of the stadiums. And the tickets were relatively accessible, I would say. Obviously you got to get there. But I mean, from a ticket standpoint, they weren't pricing you out of market, which was great.
Ted working the groups. Yeah. No, I kind of like this. At this stage, we'll obviously have I hope we're going to have refs mic'd up and all for the games and stuff like that and all. So it'll have a kind of an NFL feel to it and stuff like that. If you could pick the artist, who would be your first choice for the halftime show, if you had your choice?
Anyone in the world, yeah.
Would we go down the road of the Dre, Snoop, Cube, Eminem combo type thing again, or?
See, there's so many directions you could go. You could decide to wheel out somebody who maybe isn't touring anymore, but might do a one-off type of a show like that. Somebody big, or you could go down the route of who's selling the most concert tickets now. You could do U2, you know. You could do Coldplay. These are the biggest bands on the planet. U2 and Coldplay are the biggest bands on the planet.
That being said, I do still think Mark McCabe and that dodgy old raver.
You could have a little tip of the hat to the American culture. Obviously, you could have a Taylor Swift. You could have an Eminem or a Dre.
How do you think Taylor Swift will go down? She gets a lot of heat over the NFL, doesn't she? Would she get similar heat over the football?
She shouldn't. She's an absolute megastar. Like her or hate her, she's an absolute megastar and a money-making machine. So, as we always say, not going to hate on anybody trying to make a living around here, Niall, yeah?
Absolutely not. Swizzle. There we go. My suggestion in the group chat the other day was Bruce Springsteen, and I think Born to Run should be the anthem. I love the boss. What a performer. It's very, very American, very, very energized, all that kind of stuff, and I think it would suit the narrative. Love the boss. There we go. Right, we get into our bets?
Sure will.
Right, kick us off. I've got 2 this week, by the way, just 2 resulting both the scores. So.
Well, I've got 3.
There you go.
1, 2, 3. We'll go up through them. We got levels here now. We got levels, yeah. Level 1. Level 1 to score or assist. I've gone for a boy who's really impressed me since he came into the league. Man City, Omar Marmoush.
Yeah.
In the absence of Jean-Philippe Mateta, I think the mantle at Palace will fall to Eberechi Eze.
Yeah.
A man in really, really good form at the minute for Aston Villa, Marco Asensio.
Great show.
And a player who hasn't been in great form recently, but I expect that to change. And he's obviously playing Leicester this weekend, so he should have opportunities. And that's one Cole Palmer. So Marmoush, Eze, Asensio, and Palmer, 16-1 goal or assist anytime.
Drop your bets in there, Ted, if you want us to guess or you want us to go through them. Let us know.
Will I go to level 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
Level 2, I've mixed it up slightly. I've gone 2 bets result on both to score, and then my third pick is just to win. So I've gone for Brighton, result on both to score versus Fulham.
Yeah.
I've gone for Arsenal, result on both to score against United.
Okay.
And I've gone an Everton any score win. And that pays 44-1.
It's good odds. Not nice betting against your own team, though, is it?
I don't bet with that. I bet with that.
I know. It's still tough, though. Still tough.
Yeah. It hurts. And I'm gonna go to the top level, to the top.
Yeah.
And the top I have for you this week is my card bet. I have 3 players. I think United might be under the cosh a little bit come Sunday. And I think when they are, our boy Casemiro may end up getting a card. Loves the tackle. Really enjoys being 10 minutes late for it. I think Ipswich obviously will have a tough day at the office at Selhurst Park. But the boy Liam Delap loves putting himself about. He is a busy boy up top there. Loves putting himself about. I've gone for him. And then again, without Matheus Cunha, I think Wolves could have a tough day at the office. And I hope Ryan doesn't mind me adding in one Totti Gomez. So on Casemiro, Delap, and Gomez. And 3 cards will get you 60-1.
Lovely. Lovely. Right. My result on both the score. Man City against Forest, result on both the score. Chelsea versus Leicester, because I know that has to be a Vardy goal in there somewhere. So Chelsea and both the score. And I did Palace and both the score against Ipswich. And my final one, I did right for you, baby. Man United and both the score. I'm on this United train this weekend.
You're a lunatic.
Hammering in. I'm on this United train at the moment. There
Well,
you
he
go.
ain't going anywhere because we can't pay the dinner, ladies. So, you know.
Maybe they're trying to force him to walk, are they?
Jesus.
We can't pay you right now. We're still playing Ten Hag. See, Klopp shut him down for the job at RB Leipzig.
I done a long day the other day in work on Tuesday. You know, Tuesday's my long day. I did a long day, and come the end of the day, I probably looked a bit worse for the wear. And someone in the club says to me, "Looking a bit rough today, big man." I said, "You want to try and support my football team?" Jesus Christ! If that doesn't have you looking rough, nothing would.
Tell you, absolutely. I don't know. I've just a feeling about this game. I really do. It's just, this game sometimes can go against the grain. That's all I'm saying, and I'm just praying that it does.
Well, I was gonna say, I think it's more hope than anything, isn't it?
You got to get that hope in there, don't you? Static, my man. What's happening? Good to see you, pal. Good to see you in there, buddy.
Absolutely.
Right. Let's see. What way are we doing this? Ted. Sorry, that's 222 to 1, by the way.
What is?
The result on both the score. Man City, Chelsea, Man United, and Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
There you go. I'll give you my
Save your fiver. Send it to the whales or the turtles with the straw up their nostrils.
Sitting there in your United hoodie and you can't even support your club. Desperate.
It's
I did a League of Ireland one as well. Result on both score. Just a treble. So Cork City to beat Sligo and both the score. Shelbourne to beat Drogheda and both the score. And Waterford to beat Bohemians and both the score. And that treble pays 103 to 1.
Huge.
And not crazy either. Right, let's get into Ted's. Ted, anytime goal scorer, Ipswich, Palace, Poole, Southampton, Brentford, Villa, Wolves, and Everton, 84 to 1. Anytime goal scorer, Darren, Ipswich, obviously Liam Delap, I would imagine.
Possibly Liam Delap, yeah, possibly.
Palace would be SA, I'd imagine, if Mateda's not there.
I think it has to be. No, is it Ipswich? It's Ipswich Palace. It's the game. It's not both of them.
Oh, sorry, Ipswich Palace.
Ipswich Palace. So do you know what? I think he might have gone Eze. I'm going to go Eze. And I'm going to go Darwin. And I'm going to go Asensio. And I'm going to go Beto.
Interesting. So I'm thinking Delap. I'm thinking for Liverpool, Jota. For Brentford and Villa, I'm thinking he likes Vizza and Mbuemo in his bet, doesn't he, at times? I'm thinking Mbuemo I'm going to go. And then Wolves, Everton, I'm thinking not far off with Beto. Yeah, probably go with that. Let us know. How
many did we get?
Ed, how many did we get, or did we get any? He has another one as well. Results. His results one is Brighton, Ipswich, Everton, and Newcastle at 82 to 1.
Brighton, yes. Ipswich, no. Everton, yes. Newcastle, no. 1 out of 4 after 2 out of 4.
Interesting. So you have to give us the names.
Did we get who did we? I definitely got Beto then, which means you got Beto as well.
Yeah, we both have Beto. It has to be Beto and Delap correct. Yeah. Okay, so Mbuemo isn't correct, and you had Asensio. Is he going for Rashford? Hardly.
Don't believe it.
So he's probably going for. Is he going for Rashford? I wonder. And who's the other one? Who's the other one we didn't get? We got in the Poole Southampton game.
Has he gone for
Suleiman? Is it the Southampton player?
No, he's not gone for him.
Hardly is he. If we think Mo isn't going to start anyway, so
is he gone Chiesa?
Hardly. Or is he gone for Virgil? Is he gone for Virgil or Kanate or something off a corner?
Come on, Ted, put us out of your misery.
Yeah. So Beto and Delap are correct. Okay.
Yeah. Give me the other two.
Give us the other two. And we see. Diaz and Vizza. I knew what I say. He loves Vizza or Embuemo. Diaz is a shout. Hasn't he's been a bit blunt recently though. That's the only thing. He hasn't had his shooting boots on. So yeah, good shit. Not a bad shout actually. So what's it? Beto, Delap, Diaz, and Vizza.
84. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, no, that's
it's goal. It's goal though, so it's not goal or assist.
Yeah.
So
it's an anytime, isn't it? Yeah, anytime goal scorer.
It's an anytime goal scorer, 100%. Yeah, exactly.
Not bad. 84-1.
Absolutely.
He hasn't butted Southampton.
This is true.
That's very true. But we shall see. We shall see. Folks, thanks again for joining us tonight. And again, as we said earlier, our thoughts and prayers are with Christopher Potter's family and stuff like that, who sadly passed away last night in Turkey from a traffic accident. So if you can, the GoFundMe is down in the description if you feel like contributing. But we sound our thoughts and prayers as always. If you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button and drop a like on the video. I will be back with you on Monday, I think it is, with Monday mashup. No doubt we'll have a look at the League of Ireland tomorrow night. That Dublin derby looks tasty. But until next time, folks, enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Absolutely static. RIP to the Rangers fan in Istanbul. Very, very sad.
100%.
Thoughts and prayers with all the Cody cry babies as well. Big John is back, baby. And Niall Dazzler, take care. Legends, you as well. Static, love you, bro.
Thank you.
And Ryan's in as well. Take care, guys. Absolutely, folks. Have a great weekend, folks. I hope all your teams win. Or maybe not. It's not many weekends I cheer on United. This could be one of them. Until next time, folks. Yes, I am that kind of guy.